Since baseball was invented, people have cheated at it. A former player admitted to blackmailing umpires so they wouldn't call strikes on him. A pitcher wrote a book admitting that he cheated, explained how he cheated, then continued to use that same technique to cheat for 9 more seasons. Todd Frazier jumped into the stands to catch this ball, missed it, took a different ball that fell out of a fan's bag, pretended it was the real ball, and it was called an out. None of these players got any significant punishment. Others aren't so lucky. In fact, a 2016 team employee was sentenced to over 3 years in prison for cheating. A general manager cheated so badly in 2017, he was banned for life. And in 2019, multiple Astros were banned, fired, and suspended for cheating that might have actually made them worse. Since then, players and reporters have accused multiple other teams who shamed the Astros for cheating of doing that exact same cheating. A team in 2010 got busted for a sign-stealing method that was as illegal as the Astros, even more effective, and they got no punishment whatsoever. But does baseball actually have more cheaters than any other sport? Well, according to this clip, the answer is no. This motorcycle racer literally tried to kick his opponent off his bike while in a race. This same driver pressed his opponent's brake, going at a speed of over 130 miles per hour. He was later suspended and dropped from the team. This cyclist grabbed hold of a car, started going twice as fast, and was also disqualified. And for decades, football coaches have tried to trip players running down the sideline. They're pretty much always caught and fined for doing this. What makes baseball cheating different is that a lot of it is actually allowed. Due to the nature of the sport, there are hundreds of known ways to cheat. Investigating and enforcing minor infractions would be such a hassle that a certain level of cheating has to be allowed just to make the games run smoothly. However, this creates a massive gray area where cheating that is widely considered okay and cheating that literally gets you sent to prison isn't that far off. For example, in 2021, Kevin Kiermaier got into an altercation after stealing the Blue Jays' game plan in broad daylight. After he played at the plate, the Blue Jays catcher's game plan fell out of his wristband. Kiermaier looked at it, picked it up, immediately checked if anyone on the Blue Jays saw him pick it up, then went to the dugout and gave it to his coach, who immediately hit it. This sheet essentially says how the Blue Jays plan to pitch the Rays hitters, and according to one Blue Jays source, quote, "If there's one card we wouldn't want an opponent to have, it's that one." The next day, the Blue Jays asked the Rays to return the card, and Kiermaier responded by saying even though at first he only took the card because he thought it was his, now that he realizes it wasn't, he, quote, "wasn't going to give it back." The very next day, the Blue Jays drilled him. Kiermaier got pissed, the benches cleared, and the pitcher was ejected. He and his manager were suspended for drilling Kiermaier on purpose. Kiermaier, the one who stole the information, got zero punishment whatsoever. Chris Correa also stole information from another team and literally went to prison for it. Correa was the scouting director for the Cardinals. In 2011, his 2 bosses left the franchise to work for the Astros. The Astros had a database with information on scouting, their draft board, trade talks, and other key information. Correa got access to this database by guessing his former boss's password. He used this information to help the Cardinals scouting department for years until the FBI started investigating him, showed up to his house, charged him with corporate espionage, saying that the hacking cost the Astros $1.7 million, and sentenced him to over 3 years in prison. The FBI was also involved in investigating MLB players for corking their bats, a type of cheating that was done for years, which turns out doesn't even help. For years, some players would illegally drill a hole in their bat and fill it up with something they thought would make the bat lighter, while also giving the bat more of a trampoline effect. In 1974, Greg Nettles broke his bat, and 6 bouncy balls came flying out. After the game, saying he didn't know it was corked and used the bat because it was gifted to him by a random Yankees fan who told him it would, quote, bring him good luck. Wilton Guerrero broke his bat on this play, and instead of letting the bat boy pick it up, he sprinted as fast as he could to retrieve the bat so no one else would see that it was corked. This made the umpires suspicious, so they immediately confiscated the bat from him, inspected it, and ejected him. In 1994, the Tigers asked the umpires to investigate Albert Bell's bat. They confiscated the bat and locked it in the umpire's dressing room. Bell's teammates literally crawled through the ceiling, broke into the umpire's room, and replaced Bell's bat with his teammate Paul Sorrento's bat. Unfortunately for him, the umpires noticed pieces of ceiling scattered across the floor, and the bat that was supposed to be Albert Bell's had the name Sorrento written on it. MLB called the police to investigate and threatened to get the FBI involved if Albert Bell's bat wasn't returned. Jason Grimsley, the teammate who did the heist, returned the bat, MLB X-rayed it, found cork, and suspended Bell 7 games. The last player to get caught for this was Sammy Sosa, and it was 19 years ago because, ironically, multiple scientists have found that corking your bat doesn't even help. The trampoline effect is insignificant, and the decrease in weight causes less power on impact with the ball. The only advantage is that the bat is lighter. However, anytime your bat breaks, you're caught, which is bound to happen eventually. What is proven to work is changing the field itself. The Brossard family is known as the most beloved groundskeepers in baseball. They also may be the sport's biggest cheaters. The original Brossard was a groundskeeper for the Indians in the 30s. He created a portable fence that they literally moved back 15 feet every time the opposing team came to the plate. He also invented frozen baseballs used for his pitchers only that were a half-ounce heavier due to them being stored in humidifiers for weeks. His son and his grandson became known in Chicago by drenching the field with water when the White Sox starter was a ground ball pitcher. This made the infield slower, making grounders easier to field. And Ricky Henderson claims they made the infield dirt extremely muddy on purpose, making it harder for him to get speed while stealing. Groundskeepers are constantly making the infield faster or slower by cutting the grass, letting it grow, or adding water to the infield depending on who's pitching for their team. This really isn't cheating. This is. Bill Veeck, the owner of the White Sox, once had a promotion where he gave everyone in the outfield bleachers a free mirror to be used to reflect sun into the batter's eyes. A former Twins employee admitted to adjusting the air conditioning in the Metrodome in a way that would make it blow out while the Twins were hitting, causing more home runs for the home team. When the opposing team was hitting, it would blow in to prevent home runs. Probably the most common form of cheating is ball doctoring, which happens in pretty much every single game. This is done by either adding a sticky substance, adding a slippery substance, or by scuffing a ball. Scuffing a ball changes the ball's aerodynamic properties, creating more movement. Joe Nico used to do this with a nail filer, got investigated, and tried to discreetly throw it away. Unfortunately, the umpires and everybody watching saw him do it. Rich Honeycutt did this by taping a thumbtack to his finger, forgot he taped it to his finger, then went to wipe sweat off his face. He accidentally cut his own head open on the mound. The umpires went to check on the blood, noticed his finger had a thumbtack taped to it, and ejected him. Don Sutton got caught and ejected for scuffing up multiple balls during a game in 1978. After the game, he got a lawyer, threatened to sue the umpire and the National League for, quote, depriving him of making a living, and this actually worked. The National League decided not to suspend him. The spitball was banned after Ray Chapman got hit in the face and died. It was considered dangerous because players were spitting so much stuff on the ball that they were turning black, making them impossible to see. MLB made a rule that allowed no more than 2 pitchers on each team to throw a spitball. These players were grandfathered in. The last legal spitballer was Burley Grimes, who chewed slippery elm bark and spit it on the ball. Pitchers used this, lubricants, spit, and Vaseline to create a slippery grip, creating less spin and more unnatural movements on their pitches. Jose Valverde achieved this by salivating on a ball on live TV in 2012. According to reports, MLB investigated, but no punishment was given, which is typical. In fact, Gaylord